Well, really disturbing visuals that we saw there from Jos, the Plateau State capital. And I believe that sometime in the program, Honorable Dachong Bagos will be joining us shortly. He's a member of the National Security and Intelligence Committee. But right now, in our Abuja studios, we have with us Honorable Sejos Ogun, who is a member Constitution Review Committee and also a member of the Committee on Petroleum Downstream. I'm sure that, you know, the visuals were sufficiently disturbing for you and the story itself. I mean, 8 members of one family killed in one fell swoop in one night. Your colleague has visited the place because it's in his constituency, and he is, you know, really saddened about what has happened. And it would seem that Plateau, even though the situation in Plateau has been on for a very long time, it comes and goes, it starts and stops. Generally, there has been, you know, a feeling of insecurity in many parts of the country, right here in the Federal Capital Territory. After the Kuje prison break, we also have seen you know, attacks on our Guards Brigade happening in Buhari, etc. We've seen the president have several security meetings since you know, the attacks have happened. I'm just wondering, where we are currently, are you getting sufficient information that, you know, trends like this could actually be could be put to a halt? Let me put it that way.
Well, thank you for having me. I find it difficult to see how we're going to put an end to this, because it's not something that started today. In fairness to the present government, these things didn't start today. But just unfortunately, they made heavy weather of it in 2014, 2015, during the campaigns. And today, if you talk, the party government will tell you you are politicizing security. So the point I'm making is it makes it very difficult to understand what they have done and what they have not done. Now, if we go back to the Kuje prison attack, it was told, like the week we went on vacation,
yes,
the presiding officer, the deputy speaker, said there were 44 intels. Mm-hmm. So who does that?
Have you had specific conversation with him to get details? I'm sure that I don't know whether you were just hearing it at the same time we were also hearing it, or whether you were able to have other conversations with him behind the scenes.
No,
with regards to
I'm a member of the Committee on Army.
Okay.
I also got some information. I actually had a motion on the Kuje prison, but from nowhere, the chairman of the committee called me the week before we resumed. And he said he was in my state. Oh, what are you doing? You know, where he was visiting prisons and all that.
That's
okay.
In Edo State?
Yes. So I said, okay, I have a motion on what happened. So we talked about it, you know, and he was threatening me, don't move it to another committee, leave it with my committee and all that. So we talked. So by the next week when I was supposed to present it, I saw a video of him, the chairman of the committee and members of the committee visiting the prison. So hence, there was no need for me to move it anymore. But somehow, someone else, I think the chairman Committee on Intelligence brought a similar motion. But the intel we got was the Kariship Hills. There were some people were there for like 2 weeks, and the farmers told the security agents, and nothing was done.
So the people actually give intel.
Exactly like the NSA was saying the other day that the people should give information. They gave the information, and yet nothing was done. You know, so this I don't see, to come back to your question, I do not see an end to this. So when we talk like this, they say, okay, oh, well, we are believing in God. They say, what's God got to do with this? So, okay, what else should we believe in? If you say the people should collaborate and give information, and they've done their best, risking their life to do this. A colleague told me from Katsina, can we mention the state, that a bandits came to a house, and they were to take the man and the woman away. And the man said, the woman is a visitor. And they allowed the woman go. The woman got to a police checkpoint and said, bandits just took my husband away. A little while after, they told the man, the bandits told the man, I thought you told us that the lady in the house just now was a visitor. So you lied to us. They broke his arm and leg. So who told the bandits? Yet people are supposed to volunteer information. So then we hear that security is not coordinated. Whose fault is it? There was a senator on, I think Shew's program the other day was talking about the NSA should be sacked. Somebody actually brought a motion to that effect. I think it was late last year or early this year. No, the service chiefs, where they left, maybe there is fresh blood, this set of guys that came in. Well, but right now, we can't really pinpoint what is going on. But we think there's no coordination. So the NSA also should go. There was a question. Sorry, I don't know if I can say this.
Yeah, quickly.
There was a question somebody asked. Somebody said Governor Wike will go to Sambisa and flush out the bandits, Boko Haram. When he was responding, that's when we went to give him his nomination form. He said, I will not go to Sambisa. But as a commander-in-chief, I will provide everything they ask me for, and I will give them timeline. If you don't deliver, I will fire you. Have we budgeted? Have we provided money for security? So people should be fired.
Let's go to Lagos now. I'm sure that they'll have further questions. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you say that several motions have been brought for people to go, and you say you don't see an end to this, but the lawmakers, many of them across board in terms of the Senate and the House of Reps, think that if they impeach the president, it will put an end to this. Do you share the same thought?
I don't, but like a senator said yesterday again on Show's program that, well, maybe they are trying to get the attention. They are trying to get the attention, or we are trying to get the attention of the president. Yeah, maybe he's working. I think now we heard that he's changed some brigade of guards and all that, or some GOCs. Maybe that's working, but for how long? For how long can we keep threatening? I am not in support of impeachment, because we did it the last assembly. I coordinated the collection of signatures for my state, and it never happened. And I don't see it happening now. If you go through the process of impeachment, it's minimum 4.5 months to achieve it. That is if you have a willing Senate president and speaker. But today we know the president campaigned for this gentleman, and I don't see them. I don't see them in any way supporting it. But if they were to support it, we need minimum 4.5 months for it to happen. And 4.5 months from when we resume, that's if they allow us to resume 20th of September, when we're supposed to resume. If we resume 20th of September, 4.5 months will also already take us into January, February, when the elections will be taking place. So it's not feasible. Although I'm not in support right now, I don't see what it's going to achieve, and I don't really think we will get the numbers. In the last assembly, I remember somebody from Niger State told me that he didn't like the president. He doesn't see any reason why he would not even support the impeachment, but he asked me a question. Why should he, from the north, support the removal of the president and allow somebody from the southwest to take over power? These sentiments are still here today. So I don't see how it's going to work, but if the attempt is to get the president's attention, maybe it's working.
Well, we've now been joined by Honorable Dachshund Bagos, who is a member of National Security and Intelligence Committee, also Deputy Chairman, Anti-Corruption Committee in the House of Representatives, whose constituency, as you saw there, witnessing that current challenge. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program. Well, you heard your colleague, Honorable Ogun, speaking about the impeachment move, but if you could start off with what the situation currently is in your constituency before you delve into his own parts, the latter part of what he says. So what is going on at the moment?
Yeah, well, good morning, Chamberlain and Nigeria. Now, the situation is calm at the moment, but tension still high. Still mourning. The two that are in the hospital are stable. I visited them yesterday. One of the women that had a gunshot and the child that his arm was amputated. Doctors were able to stabilize the child. The child is 5 months old, not even 8 months. The doctors have stabilized him, and I believe he will better. So the situation is calm, but tensions are very, very, very high. People are disappointed, people are worried, and at the same time, people are scared because there are still rumors of information of another attack likely in another community. So that's how the people live in fear every day. The men within the communities don't sleep because of intelligence of any likely attack that might happen. So that's the life our people have found themselves. They don't go to the farm again, scared of being attacked. And so a lot of issues, but then, as it is, trying to manage the people as it is.
Well, so to the latter part of what Honorable Logan was speaking about, that he doesn't see this ending. I mean, the fact that even if politically speaking, the action that the members or some members in the National Assembly want to take, impeaching the president, they think is that going to even go the whole hog? Why start it if they can't finish it?
Well, there's a statement that a step of 1,000 miles. To me, whatsoever step we need to take to address the issue of insecurity in this country is a welcome idea. Like in my own constituency, with what happened, intelligence were there. People notice was even given to the community that they will be attacked. Security did not come to condone the area and to make the people feel safe. At the same time, at the meeting, because of what has happened and the tension, the local government convened a security meeting, and at the meeting, someone threatened that, and security did not even invite the person that threatened at that security meeting. And at the same time, it happened. And the same person is not being invited for interrogation. Nobody is arrested after 24 hours, Kimberly. And what do you expect us to say as the lawmakers? People represented us to do the right thing. So even if it will not work, I stand for the impeachment. Even if, no matter what, let my people know that I have taken a step to secure them. That's why they sent me to the National Assembly, to make laws and at the same time to ensure that the laws are working. So I have a law for an alternative. So if the law for an alternative to see that we have a new face and a new government through the Constitution, so even if it did not work, let my people know that I have tried.
Well, because Honorable,
there are a lot of issues that so I support it. Even if it work or if it not work, I support it. People are dying on a daily basis. People will not be able to go to farm this very season, and the economy is getting bad. 2023 is going to be worse in terms of hunger because of food insecurity. These people are not being arrested. Rather, the people that are bandits were able to rescue their own in prisons, but government could not rescue our people that are being captured back. So which means the bandits are even trying to show that they are more powerful than the government. So now, when people see the security on the road, they are not scared. But when they see a dressed headsman looking like a bandit, they are scared and they run away. So how are situations being turned around into the country? And the confidence and trust is being lost by the people on a daily basis. What are you going to tell people for a campaign in 2023?
Honorable Bagos, in addition to the intelligence that you said was provided ahead of this most recent attack in your constituency, there are reports also that when attacks are carried out in Jos, that and arrests are made, the aggressors are released on bail, and in fact the governor has complained about this in the past. The next day the aggressors are back in their homes. Your leaders enjoy a bipartisan representation, but are you on the same page as far as these attacks are concerned? And why is your state government helpless, to rein in on aggressors?
Despite the fact that we're on a different party with the governor, the truth of it is that there's no governor in Nigeria that has the ability to control the security situation in any state. All the governor can only show is a political will to be able to address the security situation in any other state. Governors are being called chief security officers merely, but the governor cannot give a commissioner of police order or cannot give any other person order. He can only provide assist or support the security agencies with equipment. Even the equipment, there are some certain kind of, a governor cannot go to the market and buy guns or ammunition. He can just give them cars or any other thing to aid their mobility. So, and that is why we have pushed to see that we amend the constitution by giving governors community police, to amend the constitution to see that vigilante are being have a say to be able to protect our own community. There are a lot of laws that we are trying to bring into place to see that the people take charge of their security. But the chain of command of security in this country, that it will have to be from the commissioner of police to the IG or to AIG or DIG, and before response is being carried out, nothing can be done. So we need to even amend our constitution to see that we address some of these issues. But at the meantime, what is the confidence? What have the security agencies been able to do with the funds that we have provided? Who has been sacked so far, just like my colleague Sajos have said? So the political will to show the ability of government to address the issue of insecurity is very paramount. The issue of insecurity is not about the issue of party. It's not about the issue of religion. It's not about the issue of ethnicity, but it's about the issue of life, securing the life and property of Nigerians. Because that is the paramount law of the president, first in the constitution. So if a president will fail to discharge the first of such responsibility, then we have a question to ask. He is our president, so we need to demand for answer.
Honorable Bagos, talk to us about this Irigwe militia that is said to be sponsoring the violence. What more do you know about it?
There is no militia on the plateau, that I can assure you. There is no ethnic group that has militia on the plateau. If there could have been any ethnic group that has militia on the plateau, we couldn't have been complaining that our people will be killed. If there is any ethnic group that has militia on the plateau, we could have, those militias could have been the one going after these headsmen. They could have been the one protecting our people. They could have been the one ensuring that our communities are safe. So at times when people just sit down and try to look for a scapegoat, when the youths come out to see how they can protect their own communities, and they have been the ones against, they usually fall victims of security agencies, and they are being paraded as militias. Do you know what, do they really know what the word militia is all about? If today we have militia, and today we say that we have mercenaries in plateau, no single plateau life would be lost. So on a daily basis we are killed, and people come back and say that our ethnic groups have militia. Militia from where? Who is sponsoring those militia?
Well, you have told the people to protect themselves, and I think that's what we've been hearing time and again. If it looks like security agencies are not up to the task, then the people clearly need to find a way to protect themselves. But, you know, still speaking on this move, at least to get a major change, some say it's just to get the attention of the president to work. Some believe, well, let's even start and see how far it will go. I remember on this show last year, it was in April, and we spoke to you, and you said that, you know, there was going to be that security summit. By the way, there are questions about what came out of that report of the summit that the House of Reps held. But you said that, you know what, if after the summit, nothing changes regarding security, then the president, then the impeachment process would begin. That was as far back as April, and, well, clearly nothing happened then. It's been over a year since that. So I wonder, for that summit, that report that came out of a security summit, there was so much expectations, so much recommendations. What came out of it? And honestly, what more can the House, the lawmakers do? We'll go to Honorable Ogun on that, but I'd like you to speak to that question first.
Yeah, it's absolutely the bureaucracy and lack of political will from government. As far as the National Assembly members and lawmakers are concerned, we have done the needful. We have brought out motions, we have brought out resolutions on the House. There is no member on that floor of the House, 360 of us, that is not affected directly or indirectly. And the Security Summit proffers solutions in terms of funding, in terms of how government will drive intelligence, in terms of international collaboration. And it's from the Security Summit, mind you, that just a few weeks ago, we were able to pass some laws that have to do with anti-terrorism, money laundering, and so on and so forth. And so it's now left for government to be able to execute some of those things that we were able to provide as a result of the Security Summit. So because government has not done anything about it, and that's the last resort, just like I said yesterday, last year, if they have not been able to do anything the last after the security, we'll start moving for the impeachment process, which we are going to do it. And whether it work or not work, let the people know that we have started something, because we have given them everything. Reports are there on the media on billions of naira, not 1, 2, 3 billion, hundreds of billions that have been provided to the security agencies. That if half or 10% of those billions is being given to us, maybe some of these youths that have been recruited by some of these people in terms of armed robbery and even to be part of those bandits could have been reduced. Well, during the Goodluck administration, when nomadic education was being given to this to the Fulanis in various areas, they fought against it. But now these people are on rampage. They don't have anything. They don't have education. Nobody knows who they are, and so on and so forth. How do you want this to be addressed?
Well, Honorable Sir, just I mean, you know, I mean, perhaps in the future, if people were to look back at this government, and generally speaking, different governments, when they say a government succeeds or a government fails, it's usually across board. And the National Assembly, I mean, you remember now, so if they said government succeeded or government failed to handle security, how would you feel if they said you were part of a government that failed or didn't handle security properly?
Yeah, for some of the motions that we bring, but people forget this quickly, the motions we bring and the bills, they are actually channeled towards solving most of these problems. But if you bring a motion and you get a resolution of the House, who is to implement? Who is to execute it? It's still the executive. It's just a resolution that's going to be passed back to the executive. So for some of us at times when we do certain things and they say we are politicizing certain things, security, healthcare, education, and all that. Well, like I said earlier, you know, they started this, but we don't have to do it the way they did it. I'm of the PDP, we are a matured party. We don't have to, like people say, where's your position? You are not providing any opposition. We don't have to do it the way they did it. But that is why right now, they don't have the sympathy of the people. We have brought in tons of motions to address most of these issues. It's the same thing. You get a resolution and it's passed with the executive and nothing happens. But I believe someday when the history or when we are taking records of what happened, I'm sure history will be kind to us because we can easily refer to some of the motions we moved. These motions are not necessarily playing to the gallery. They are motions to address the situations because we are representing people. We are from different constituencies. We feel their pulse. They have sent us here to be their voice. When something is happening in your constituency and you bring it to the floor of the House and your colleagues agree with you and there's a resolution, it's only natural that the executive should implement. But that's not what is happening today. That's why some of us are thinking, because the security agents are not coordinated, the apparatus, everybody is just working on their own. How will you expect the Department of State Security to work so hard to gather intelligence and then give to certain arm of, you know, of the agencies or security agents, and then they will not implement? And then something happens and nobody is sacked. I think the NSA should go like yesterday.
Your colleague spoke about the Constitution review, which is currently going on. You're a member of the committee. Can you tell us how far it's gone?
Yeah, I think we got a notice when we came back from the last recess that there was a notice sent to the state assemblies to try and bring in their reports, and not all of them had done that. I actually remember calling my speaker, the speaker of my state, to say, look, like a couple of states have submitted their reports, and he told me they were sending their own report that week. So I think they are in the process of collating reports from the states. before we can proceed from there.
Do you think that we'll be able to get anything out of the Constitution review, that would affect security positively before the end of the 9th Assembly, beg your pardon?
I don't think a whole lot will happen because for some of us wanted state police there. We didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And that is what everybody is clamoring for. But I also want to disagree a bit with my colleague, Honorable Bagos, because section, is it 216(2)? The president is to consult with the Nigerian Police Council in appointing an IG and even sacking an IG. And that council comprises of governors. So I think that's a forum for them to raise some of these issues. Even 215, I think 3 and 4, talks about the commissioner that's sent to the states and the relationship the governors should have with the commissioners. I've heard a former governor, Peter Obi, say something about he wanted to remove a commissioner of police, and he told the IG, and he wanted the deputy to succeed immediately, and they said no and not. So they have power, not necessarily to sack, but to change a police commissioner that is not cooperating with them. I think what they want is just to be absolute control.
Yeah, but I mean, there have been situations whereby commissioners have not, they've only cooperated with the IG. I mean, we've seen what happened. We saw what happened in River State in the case of Chibuike Amici when he was governor.
Yeah, the Constitution says that matter of fact that they have to, the commissioners will have to escalate such communication with the commissioner in the state or the governor to the president or the minister in charge in Abuja, before they take certain steps. But the point is, the point I'm making is, you don't want to get into a problem. You don't want to have problems with the governor, when it has to do with the police. So you only hear that they don't have absolute powers over them. But if you have a problem today, the governor picks his phone and calls the commissioner of police. You're going to be in a cell for a long while, unless you have condition to get out of that place. But I know what they want. They want absolute control. Yeah, because they are chief security officers. But to that extent, we wanted state police, but it didn't work. So I don't see much happening in the constitutional review or the amendments that will change the situation today.
You think a process of the constitutional review, this is a separate question from security, will be concluded before the time of this National Assembly runs out?
Of course. Usually they will complete it, and then this now whether the president will sign. I actually think we're going to finish that before we go for our elections.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, we have to thank you both for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning. Honorable Dachong Bagos, we have to also send our condolences to you and your constituency members over the killings that happened there. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on Sunrise Daily. He is a member of the National Security and Intelligence Committee and also the Deputy Chairman, Anti-Corruption Committee. Thank you for coming. And Honorable Cedric Ogun, right here in our Abuja studios, is a member of the Constitution Review Committee and also a member of the Committee on Petroleum Downstream. Gentlemen, thank you once again for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a break at this point and we'll be back to discuss the response of the security agencies to what has been happening across the country. Please stay with us.